in this video, I'll be talking about how to overcome deep karmic patterns. So if you're on this spiritual journey of self-discovery, you've probably recognized there's some very deep stuff that's been with you a long time. This is what we would classify as a karmic pattern. And learning ways to really overcome and break these patterns is going to help you transition much quicker and smoother through your spiritual journey. So before we get into this video, I would like to say that if you're new to the channel and you are trying to change and transform, I'd like to welcome you to subscribe and remember to hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a new video. So without further ado, let's get into this. How do we break these deep karmic patterns? So as I've explained, what I mean when I say karmic patterns, deep karmic patterns, is something that has probably been with you for most of your life. Some struggle, some kind of resistance, or some kind of negativity. There's kind of two ways this shows up: in the outside world and within our inner world. So a karmic pattern can show up on the outside as you struggling in a certain area of life. Perhaps you struggle finding the right type of partner, or maybe you struggle with finances, or maybe you struggle with your health or career. If a certain area of your life has always been a problem for you, that could potentially be a karmic pattern, a deep karmic pattern that you need to break. An internal karmic pattern could look like something like lifelong anxiety or lifelong depression, sadness, any kind of mental health issue, or any kind of negative emotion which has really caused you a lot of distress. Anger, resentment, jealousy, guilt, shame, anything like that which has been with you for a long time. These would all potentially be considered as a karmic pattern. And what's generally believed is that these karmic patterns come from past lives. For whatever reason, what you needed to learn wasn't learned. So this pattern is now transitioned almost into this current life because you still have a lesson to learn. There's something you still haven't overcome. And until you learn to overcome it, you're going to keep experiencing this resistance, let's say, or this pattern. You're going to keep having the same struggles. So we can choose to consciously face this now, so we don't need to face it anymore in the future. So it may look like that something happened in your past, some trauma, some negative experience or abuse that made you have this pattern now, that made you anxious, that made you feel like you can't have a relationship or make some money, or you're depressed, whatever. Something, it appears like something happened in the past that makes you experience this resistance now. But that event that happened in your past, we could almost say that was almost planned. It had to occur so you could fall back into this pattern, so you could actually go back to and deal with what you need to deal with. And that's where we really start getting deep, and we think about how potentially we chose our life experience because of the lessons we need to learn, right? So we will choose the life that's going to help us deal with most of our karmic shit. When some past trauma happens, it's almost as though a part of your consciousness has been split off from you and is trapped in that past event, right? And that's why you can't get beyond it. Because a part of you is literally stuck in some past event. You need to free that part of your consciousness from that past, from that pattern. And as you do that, you start to become more integrated, you become more whole. This is how you will feel when you break the pattern. You will feel more expanded, you will have a higher level of consciousness and awareness. I'll share with you how it felt for me. I didn't realise it, but one part of my head, this side of my face, actually felt heavier than this side. Just very subtly, I could sense that this side had a bit more sensation and weight to it. This side was lighter. But upon doing this exercise, what I found was that something on this side of my face come back. And now I feel more expanded. I have a more balanced, even field within my conscious field almost, let's say. That's literally how it feels to me. And that's how I know I've reclaimed something that was split off, something that had been split off from before. This is almost like a shamanic exercise as well, which they call soul retrieval. You're freeing aspects of your consciousness up from old karmic patterns, reintegrating them and becoming whole again. That's also why it's kind of like shadow work. Shadow work is essentially the same thing. You're integrating and reclaiming aspects of yourself. So the way I see it is like dealing with these karmic patterns is almost like your life purpose. Everybody wants to know what their purpose is. A great starting point is look at the areas of your life you're struggling in and find a way to overcome them struggles. There's a piece of your purpose right there. I really truly believe that by overcoming these patterns is one of the reasons, one of the main things we have to do in each lifetime in order to keep progressing to higher and higher levels and better lives. So I'm going to slowly move to the exercise now. Before we get to these 3 key steps of what to do, you'll have to identify a pattern that you want to overcome. I would suggest that you choose a really deep pattern, something that's been with you for a very, very long time. It probably won't take much thought. It's probably going to be glaringly obvious. You know what you want to overcome. That demon on your back, that thing that's really caused you a lot of distress. I would say that's probably your deepest karmic pattern. That is your greatest challenge. That is what you must overcome in this life. Okay? Once you've chosen it, you need to apply these 3 steps that I'm going to take you through. Now, these 3 steps are in no particular order. You can do them in any order that you wish. I'm going to start with step 1, which is identify the core belief. So, underneath this deep pattern, this karmic pattern, there's a belief, a core belief, right? There's something that you are believing that is keeping this pattern alive. It's important that we turn this pattern into words, because when we turn it into words, we can work with it better. We're increasing awareness around it. And that's why it's important to find the core belief underneath it. Before we put it into words, it's just some kind of energy, we could say. But by putting it into words, by finding this core belief, we can work with it. That's why I say do this. So find the core belief underneath this pattern. I'll just give you some very broad examples, generalizations. Take, for example, someone who has trouble attracting the type of relationship they want, right? Deep down, their core belief may be they're unlovable, right? Or maybe someone who experiences a lot of fear and anxiety, their core belief may be that they are incapable of taking care of themselves. You see what I mean? So underneath your pattern, there's a core belief which is keeping that pattern alive, which is reinforcing that pattern. And you need to get to the bottom of that. You need to find that core belief. I'm not going to get into how to uncover core beliefs because it's beyond the scope of the video and the video will go on for too long. But there's a lot of resources online that can help you find out how to find a core belief. Once you've highlighted that, then you can do step 2. Step 2 is to understand what is this pattern trying to teach you in this life. This core belief you've uncovered will probably give you a big clue. There's a lesson. There's a lesson in this pattern. There's a lesson in this struggle. You need to identify the lesson. Like I've just said earlier, the reason this is a problem for you, and it probably has been for many lifetimes, is because there's something important for you to learn. What do you need to learn? When you've identified the lesson, and you can contemplate this, then you need to start to find a way to integrate it into your life. It's not enough just to know what the lesson is. We need to apply it and integrate it and start to live by it, right? That's what a lesson is. We really learn the lesson when we start to apply it. So take the lesson, identify it, and find a way to work it into your life. That may sound like a lot of work, but it's not really. Over time, you'll naturally start to become this new person who lives with a new empowering belief. It's the only way to be free, is to learn the lesson and show the universe or yourself that you have learned the lesson. Okay, and the third and final step is a meditative practice. Very, very powerful this. It has been for me. And what you need to do here is you need to take the core belief, get into a quiet meditation, and you're going to question the belief. Right? What you're going to do is you're going to ask the belief if it's true. Is this true? Is this belief true? And you're going to sit for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however long, and just keep asking this question. Is this belief true? Over and over again. And just contemplate it over and over again. What we're doing here, from a sense of detachment, we're directing our awareness toward this belief. If you don't already know, awareness is incredibly powerful. Awareness can create worlds. It can do anything, right? As we begin to direct our awareness toward the belief through this questioning, we begin to pierce through it. Slowly we begin to dissolve it. We begin to see it in a different way. But you have to keep asking that question, is this true? And don't get caught up in the stories. If anything comes up, any thoughts that make you believe that the belief is true, just allow them to come, watch the thought, any emotion that comes with the thought, just experience it and let it move through your body. Don't attach to it. Let it go. I have a video on letting go. I have a few. I'll link one of them up here if you are interested in knowing how to do that. But just let the energy of any emotion that comes up, let it go through you. And just keep coming back to that question. Is this belief true? Just to give you a generalization of what we would define ultimate truth as, ultimate truth is oneness and love. That's the highest truth, right? So there's something for you to compare your belief with. Does your belief resonate with oneness and love? If you don't feel like you're good enough, for example, obviously that doesn't resonate with love, and it doesn't resonate with oneness. Because oneness is the idea that we're all equal. No one's better than anyone else. We're all one, right? So look at your belief through this lens. Does it resonate with the ultimate truth? Is it true? Gradually, you're going to find that it isn't true as you start to pierce through with your awareness. Now, this might work very, very quickly for you. For me, it did work very quickly. But if it doesn't, you need to stick with it every day. Consider the fact that some of these deep karmic patterns have been with you for God knows how long. So it's going to require some patience and commitment to start to pierce through. But don't underestimate the power of your consciousness, the power of your awareness. It is the ultimate tool, and it will break through eventually if you keep doing this. So try this exercise, give it a go. Really work on that, the thing that really bothered you for a long time. Okay? So I think that's everything that I have to talk about here. If you do have any questions about anything that I have explained or talked about in this video, you know what to do. Hit me up in the comments. Maybe you have some deep patterns you've been struggling to overcome. Maybe you have broke through some very deep patterns yourself. I'd be very interested to know how you did it. Or like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, as normal, if you did like the video, if you could please go ahead, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone if you think they need to hear the message. Subscribe to the channel, remember to hit the bell notification. And until next time, remember to keep living free and being free.